Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for our Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from a double up game that I did with Headwinder, and in this game we're going to feature a trait that I haven't really talked that much about in Set 11, and that is the Sage trait. That is the trait that I'm going to be building my team around in this particular game. Well, I don't think it's much of a secret that I don't think that set at 11 is a very good set. I haven't spent nearly as much time playing this set as I have in set 10, and I'm just about to the end of the battle pass that gives you the additional background stages, so I don't think I'm going to be playing too much more of this set, but I did get the chance to do a couple games with Headwinder. He actually joined me at my request. I was trying to do a couple games to fill out the remainder of the battle pass, and he was kind enough to join me, and we ended up having a couple decent games here, so I'll definitely cast this one and we'll go from there. Our initial porter is Vendor Sentinels. This one puts 2 support items on a minion, a Sentinel, at the start of the game. Everybody gets one of these. Everybody else in the lobby ran to Prismatic Party, which was going to give us 3 Prismatic Augments, and I am really glad that we did not end up getting that as an option. There were some new items introduced in this most recent patch. This is kind of standard stuff that the TFT development team likes to do. Balance, who cares about balance? Let's just throw a whole bunch of stuff into the game. So they added, I think, 15 new Ornn items or 20 new Ornn items, something like that. And they added, I think, 5 new support items. And in fact, we actually have one of the new support items in this game. The Sentinel that I have gotten has a Zerat portal for one of the 2 things, but the other one is, what is it called? I think it's called Unstable Treasure Chest. What it does is when the unit it attached to dies, it gives 3 items, completed items, to nearby units. And by the way, I should talk. I'll talk more about that in a second. If you look at what I had here, I ended up getting a Zoe from the initial minion round drop, and then I also had a Diana drop from the initial minions. And Headwinder was able to send me a Zyra, so I kind of have this Sage plus Storyweaver board ready to go, and that's the direction that I'm going to lean into in this game. We'll talk more about the Sage trait as it goes on. It's a silver augment to start. Again, thank goodness we didn't get Prismatic Party. There's actually a couple good options here. The stationary support is actually pretty good, but I have the golden remover as an option, and I love getting this at the start of the game, because not only does it give you an item component anvil, it also gives you an infinite item remover that you can just use over and over and over and over again, which is really, really nice. It's quite strong. And I'm going to clear my bench here. I'm going to level so I can get Storyweaver trait in. And I'm going to go ahead and play the red Kale, because I'm not playing Kale as a support unit. She's going to be a carry unit to some extent in this game. And then I even have this extra Garen, but I thought I didn't need to play the Garen because I already had enough frontline. I already had the Zerat minion, and I had the Golem up there, and I had Diana. So I thought it would be a little bit better to play the Sivir over playing the Garen in this situation. I'm definitely going to play the Zyra because she's a 2-star unit. A 2-star 2-cost already. Pretty big high roll to hit that already at the start of the game. And I want to play Zoe because she is a 3-cost. And then in addition to that, as I said, I think the Sivir is slightly better because she can give some attack speed over to the Kale on here. So anyway, I win that first round super easily, and I think my board is actually pretty strong for this stage of the game. I went ahead and made a Sunfire Cape because I had the items for that. Sunfire Cape's always very good in the early game. And then I just stuck this sword on Sivir because I have the infinite item remover. There's no reason not to use these. I can pop them off at any point in time that I want. So we've got Storyweaver plus Sage here as the traits. As you see, we have another one of these really dumb encounters. This is literally Mario Party here, as we get additional loot for standing on the Tom Kench puddles. But anyway, enough of that. Storyweaver plus Sage. Storyweaver is, of course, one of the big vertical scaling traits here in the set. Storyweaver trait puts Kale on the board. The higher you go into Storyweaver, the more abilities Kale gets and the stronger she is. We just have the 1-star version of Kale for being Storyweaver 3. Oh, by the way, 2 more Zyras in my shop. I'm already up to 5 Zyras. I was like, okay, I wasn't planning on going for 3-star Zyra, but with me having 5 Zyras on 2-3, I think it's probably worthwhile just to go ahead and grab these Zyras, because I am planning on playing into Sage trait in this game because I have the early Diana and I have 5 early Zyras here. So anyway, what does the Sage trait do? As I said, I haven't really talked much about this. It reminds me the most of Strategist trait from set 9 in the sense that it does something, you get one benefit for allies in the front 2 rows and a different benefit for allies in the back 2 rows. Here's the formal description. Combat start allies in the front 2 rows gain Omnivamp, that is, they heal off of physical or magic damage, and then allies in the back 2 rows gain ability power. So AP for units in the back 2 rows, Omnivamp, i.e. healing as they deal damage for units in the front 2 rows. It starts out relatively low. At Sage 2, it's only 12% Omnivamp and 15 AP. But if I can get up to Sage 4, I could get 30% Omnivamp, 45 AP. You need an emblem to get to Sage 5 because there's only 4 Sage units. The other units are Morgana at the 4 cost tier and Wukong at the 5 cost tier. All right, anyway, so I've been winning these rounds pretty easily. Again, it makes sense because I have quite a few 2-stars on my board. And I was able to make 2-star Garen there, so I decided, all right, well, I'll just play Garen on the board. And again, I have the infinite item remover, so instead of putting this sword on the Sivir, I'll put the sword on Garen. And my other sword is on Zyra, because why not? I'm actually kind of hoping I can make a Spear of Shojin and get a tier, because that would be pretty nice for Zyra. As I said, I think I have good odds to 3-star her, but, you know, we've got these swords. As long as I don't combine them together, they don't go into a completed item, so why not? We'll just stuff them on units so they get a little bit of extra damage, and we'll take advantage of this. The other thing that's been really helping me is that unstable treasure chest, or I don't know if that's the exact name for it, but it's something treasure chest. That is extremely powerful in the early game. It does fall off a good bit in the late game, but it's very, very, very strong in the early game because it gives 3 full items when the sentinel holding it dies. Again, in the late game, getting 3 additional items is kind of like whatever, but here in the early game, I mean, that is just a massive, massive benefit. When everybody only has like 1 or at most 2 completed items, to get 3 more of them is just wild. So getting that at the start of the game is basically just a free win streak. Pretty much just a free invitation to win streak, which, as I said, is kind of insane. So it's definitely something that if you're going to get it's definitely something you want to get at the start of the game. It would be pretty bad to take if it was like on an augment at, I don't know, 4. The third augment on like 4-2 would be pretty lousy. But here on stage 2, this thing's downright amazing. So I'm quite happy to take that. Alrighty. So now I have more choices on things to get in the store. I'm going to go ahead and level because I am on a win streak. So I have a Riven here, and with Riven I can actually play Story Weaver 5. But let's see, I would have to take something out. I'd have to take the Diana out, and I don't think that that's necessarily what I want to do. Still, I could do that. What I could do is I could pop the items off of the Diana, take her off the board, put the tank items on Garen, and then play the Riven for 5 Storyweaver if I wanted. But I decided I would just keep the items on Diana because I do want to keep... I would lose Sage Trade if I did that, though, and I'm not sure that that would be worthwhile to do. So anyway, I bought the Aatrox because that would give me Bruiser trait if played with Riven. I also bought the Riven, but if I'm going to play one of these 2 units, I really should be playing the Riven because she will make Kale a little bit stronger. There's really no reason to play Aatrox if he doesn't have Bruiser trait in and doesn't have Ink Shadow trait in and doesn't have Ghostly trait in. I am not looking to play into Ghostly trait because this game was played on the first day of this patch's release, and there was actually a huge bug that was causing Ghostly only to work for Ghostly units and not to work for other units. That is, the little Ghostly ability did not work for other units. So I believe I take the Aatrox out here and put the Riven in, if I remember correctly. But I think, oh, that's right. I was waiting for a gift round, and Headwinder had another Zoe. So yeah, now I have Zyra 2-star, Zoe 2-star, Garen 2-star. Plus, I have the Zerat minion for extra frontline. Plus, I have that treasure chest that gives everybody free completed items. Yeah, I'm high rolling pretty good here on this start. And there's a good reason why I'm win streaking because, as I said, I've hit all these 2-stars. Plus, I have Kale. Plus, I have really good items on my Golem up there. So yeah, this team, by the way, this person apparently didn't know that Ghostly was bugged and they were trying to play vertical Ghostly, but and it actually worked better than you would have anticipated, but I think it's because they were playing nothing but Ghostly units. Again, if you do have that unstable treasure chest, you actually want the unit holding it to die quickly in the fight because you want those items to pop off. Like that other person actually had the same thing, but they didn't get their unit to die until the fight was like 90% over, and then the bonus items popped off and it just did nothing because, like, what was the point? The fight was already over by the time they got the extra items. Anyway, so a super duper duper successful stage 2, like really could not have gone much better than this. By the way, I'm looking at Exalted. I saw that I had some Exalted units. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to play Zyra. I'm going to play Soraka on this board because I want to get Altruist in together with Riven. I might want to toss Annie on the board later on, and that would get Exalted trait in. It's not something that's going to be useful now, but as it capped my board for the 10% extra damage or whatever it is that Exalted gives you, I think at level 8 it would be 10% extra damage. I think at level 9 it would be 11% extra damage. That might be pretty useful. And then also looks what pops out. I got a tier here. That's a really, really good. As I said, I'm trying to make Spear of Shojin. I actually would like to get multiple Spear of Shojins. I put it on the Zyra, and then I just shifted over to the Zoe because, again, why not? And then now I was like, okay, well, I've got a bow here. Why don't I make Nashor's Tooth? Zoe's mana cost is relatively low. She has 60 for her mana cost, so that's 4 auto attacks to cast with Spear of Shojin. The default is you get 10 mana per auto attack. Shojin increases that to 15 mana per auto attack. So at 40 for her mana, or 60 for her mana, that's 4 auto attacks. 15 times 4, 60. And that means it should be pretty easy for her to get the Nashors off. And I think she'll have enough attack speed to keep the Nashors uptime more or less permanent. It looks like she can keep the Nashor's uptime permanently once she gets that initial cast off. So I do think that was pretty worthwhile to have. And then now look, she's even gotten a blue buff for her extra free item out of that treasure chest. I don't know that the blue actually does that much, but it's not bad. Oh, I should also mention the items that pop out of that treasure chest, they are tailored to the unit that gets them. So tank units get tank items. You can see Zoe got a blue buff. It's not random items, which also makes that quite a bit better. I went ahead and leveled to 6 because I was on full win streak. I tossed in the Soraka. That put Altruist trait in play for a little bit of extra armor and magic resistance. Also, Soraka just a solid unit to play. All right, now I did think about taking late game specialist here. I thought that might actually be pretty good to get here, but I decided I would pass that up because I think I'm going to reroll here for some of these units. And so I end up taking the reroll augment instead, rolling for days. It's going to give me 9 free rerolls that I can use whenever I want. So I could have taken late game specialist and then just looked to push to level 9. But I decided I would not do that. Also decided, yeah, I really should play the Sivir over the Soraka. Soraka, not bad, but Altruist 2 is not actually going to do that much for my board. It's only 10 armor, 10 magic resistance. It's not really going to be that helpful. Sivir giving me the 2-star Kale, who gets an extra ability, is going to be more useful here for the 5 Spellweaver. So where am I going with this game? Well, as I said, I have a lot of 2 and 3 cost units I'm going to try to play through here on my board. I already have 2-star Zoe. I already have 5 Zyras. I already have the Diana. My just thinking was I'm going to roll on level 7. I'm going to roll for the remaining 4 Zyras. I only need 4 more Zyras for Zyra 3-star. I'm going to try to see if I can 3-star Zoe, and I'm going to try to see if I can 3-star the Diana. And if I'm going to be rolling for 3 cost units, I might as well pick up Soraka's in the process too, because she's another 3 cost unit. This also made sense for us in this game because Headwinder is playing an Umbral board, and he's going to try to 3-star Yone and 3-star Alun on his board. The unfortunate thing for Headwinder is he is being contested. There's another person playing Umbral in this lobby. There is no one else playing these Sage/Spellweaver unit, Sage/Storyweaver units. So look like I have a little bit clearer path in this game than Headwinder does, just in terms of what we're playing in this lobby. But it makes sense. We're both going to reroll for 3 cost units. You can see he's grabbing some Dianas, he's grabbing some Zoes over there. We can kind of unlock each other's comps by playing both things that want 3 cost units. And then long term, I want to try to hit, like I said, Zoe and Diana and Zyra. If I can hit some of those units, I probably won't hit all of them, but if I can hit some of those units, then the plan after that will be level to level 8, put in Morgana, and then level to level 9 and put in Wukong. And that would get me up to 4 Sages, which I think would be really nice for the late game. So that is the game plan. Some of these Storyweavers units are definitely going to come out. Sivir is not going to be on my board late game. Garen's not going to be on my board late game. I'm hoping I can replace them with better units. I'd love to get Lee Sin on the board because he has a lot of synergy with the Diana. That would allow me to unlock at least Dragon. What's the Dragon Lord? Is that the official name? Dragon Lord 2? Yes, could unlock Dragon Lord 2. I'd also love to get Rakan on this board late game because I'm going to be playing Altruist, and that would give me Dragon Lord, another rank of Dragon Lord, and another rank of Altruist. So Rakan would be a really good unit to play. There's a number of different options here, a number of different things that I can play through. So we're going to see what we hit, and we're going to go from there. For the moment, though, I am pretty much a spellcasting comp because most of my damage is coming from Zoe, and then to a lesser extent Zyra. I guess Kale is doing physical damage, but most of my damage is still magic at this point in time. So I'm kind of going more for AP stuff than AD stuff. Anyway, that rod would be nice. And do I get it? Oh, No, I actually don't get it. I thought that I was going to get that, but no, I actually didn't get it, which is a little bit unfortunate. But all right, we'll fall back and get the Malphite instead. As I said, I did think I was going to get that. And then look at this shop, double ashes. You know, if I wasn't locked into a Storyweaver board right now, this would be like the most disgusting shop possible because ash is really overpowered in this current patch. And I got 2 out of 3 ashes at 5% odds. 3 different forecasts here. Even though I'm only level 6, it's a little unfortunate that I can't really use this, but I don't think that I can. So the only thing I can do is, the other thing I did here is this is the gift round for Double Up. And one of the options, I didn't really like any of the options. I think I had the choice of like 1 component anvil or 1 training dummy. And then the other option was a random 5 cost. I often don't go for that, but in this game, there were a lot of 5 costs that would have helped me out quite a bit from this position. As I mentioned, if I could have gotten Rakan, that would have been awesome because he would give me Dragonlord and Altruist. If I had gotten the Wukong, that would have been awesome. That would have given me a rank of Sage and another damage dealer. I also could have looked to pull Aurelia, which would be really good for dual. It'd give me the 5-cost Storyweaver, and then also there'd be synergy with the Lee Sin that I just found in the stop. I could have found Lysandra, who would start printing me items. Remember, I have 1 Arcanist in the form of Zoe. And so Lysandra would have been awesome to get here. I could have put Spear of Shojin, Nashers on her, and have her just print me items. But no, I didn't get any of those. I ended up getting an Udyr, who was just about the worst unit I could have found. Like, even Set would have given me another Warden to pair with Garen. So Udyr was about the worst unit I could find. He has no synergy with my board whatsoever. But I can send him over to Headwinder's board because Headwinder is playing. I believe he's playing on his Umbral board. He's playing. What's the word? What is the unit that I'm looking for? He's playing a Yorick. I don't know why it took me a minute to think of the name. He is playing Yorick, who is Umbral plus Behemoth, and as a 5-cost unit, it's just pretty good to be playing the Udyr anyway. So he can play the Udyr, and I'm going to send that over to him once we hit stage 4. And we get the champion send that can send 4 and 5 cost units. So as I said, a little bit of a disappointment. As I said, there were a whole bunch of different things to pull. As I said, I think there were about 5 of there. By the way, there are 8 5 cost units. I think that like 6 of them, I think that like 4 of them would have been awesome and like 2 more would have been good. And Udyr was one of the like 2 out of 8 options that didn't do anything for my board, but it is what it is. I can still play around it. My board's still in really good shape, and I was able to go to level 7 there, and now I can start using my rerolls. I went to level 7, and I put in, what did I put in? I put in the Soraka because she made Altruist trait, going to give a little more armor and MR to the rest of the team. Maybe I should have put in Lee. I'm not sure if Lee Sin would have been better here. Lee might have been the better choice, but I don't know. If I could somehow find Aurelia, then Lee would just be awesome because he'd give me the Dragonlord rank and also Duelist trait for Aurelia. So as I said, one nice thing about this board is I do have a lot of options. And then, I hit 2-star Soraka, I hit 2-star Riven. 2-star Soraka better than 1-star Lee Sin, so we will play the Soraka for right now. Note that I do not have Heavenly trait in, so I would like to get Wukong because Wukong would give me Sage and Heavenly, and that's another reason why I do want to play the Soraka on this board. I also get a 2-star Diana coming over from Headwinder, and that is a big deal because I've had my tank items on this 1-star Diana thus far, and getting a 2-star Diana is going to be really nice. Now, you might say, oh, well, you can't transfer the items without selling her, but infinite item remover. I can easily do this item replacement. Anyway, there goes the Udyr. Champion Sen coming back right on time. Now we're going to start using our free rerolls on level 7. So we'll go ahead and try to grab these and just see what we can hit. Again, I'm looking to 3-star the Diana. I'm looking to 3-star the Zoe. I'm looking to 3-star the Zyra because I have 5 already. You do still have good odds to hit the 2 costs on level 7. Again, I'm actually not using my rerolls fast enough. I'm trying to be careful here so I don't miss anything. And let's go ahead and get that Diana on the board, replacing the 1-star with the 2-star. So I'll go ahead, make the Sunfire Cape. I have double vests, so we'll go ahead and make Bramble. Oh, actually, I changed my mind. I decided to do Steadfast Heart instead of Bramble Vest. So we'll hold on to that. Debatable as far as which one of these is better than the other. They're both pretty good tank items. Obviously, Bramble Vest is better against physical damage, and the Steadfast Heart better against kind of general damage. All right, so I was going to win against this person as well, but then their partner comes over, and I can't quite kill 2 full boards, but I definitely would have won that round. Still, it's a little bit unfortunate that I ended up losing out on this particular one. Oh, well, wasn't going to win streak through the whole game. That's pretty rare. And then, all right, well, our last augment is Prismatic, and I always hate it when the last one is Prismatic. It just makes it so the whole game is just really, really random. It can take a game that's going well and just completely shuffle that. So I'm trying to find these. Baboom is tempting, but I don't really have like a Syndra that's going to cast constantly or a Teemo that's going to cast constantly, so I don't think that's quite right. Cybernetic Uplick I don't think is correct. Prismatic Ticket, I already have plenty of rerolls. I don't think I need more rerolls. I decided to go for the Radiant Relics and see if I can pull something good here. And I was like, ooh, okay, Rascal's Glove, good. Luminous Deathblade, maybe not bad, but oh, there's the Super Morellos there, the Radiant Morellos. I was like, ah, Radiant Morellos. Now, as far as the Radiant item goes, unlike the normal items, which are reasonably well balanced, the Radiant items actually are not especially well balanced. Some of the Radiant items are much better than other Radiant items because the Radiant items don't pop up that often. And that means that the balance on them is not quite as good. But in terms of the data, the Radiant Morellos is the single best Radiant item in the game, at least from a statistical standpoint. It has the best average placement of any Radiant item in set 11 right now. By the way, this round's really close, but couldn't quite clutch that one out. So anytime you can get Radiant Morellos, this is really, really an item you want to try to get. And the other reason why it's so good is I have a unit that's going to be perfect for it, and that is Morgana. Well, I don't actually have Morg yet, but Morgana's best item is Morellos. So she is a perfect user for Morellos because of the way that she can put that on the board and hit multiple targets at once and get them all burning down. All right, there is a 2-star Zoe. Excuse me, 2-star Zoe on Headwinder's board. So that's really nice. I also am going to get a Galio, so I definitely want to make some of these replacements. I'll take out the Sivir. I really don't need Sivir. I'm not going for 7 Story Weaver in this game. Excuse me. So that's going to put Bruiser trait in play, give my units a little bit more tankiness. And I still have the 5 Story Weaver in. So what is it? 5 Story Weaver, 2 Ultras, 2 Sage, 2 Bruiser. I'm looking for Morgana. I have not found her yet. She is much better in this patch than she has been in others patches because they finally fixed her targeting. Up to this point in time in the game, Morgana has largely just cast her ability at a random enemy, but they changed it so now she will finally target the biggest clump of enemies. I don't know why they didn't do that before. This unit has been terrible the whole set because they messed up her targeting for no clear reason. She actually did target the biggest clump of enemies on the public beta environment back before the set released. But yeah, for whatever reason, they decided to do away with that and have her just do random targeting. So she's been a terrible unit the whole set. But yeah, they finally fixed that, and so now she's actually a pretty good unit in this set, which is one reason why this Sage board I'm building is going to be stronger. Anyway, this is a really, really, really dumb carousel. It's all 5-cost units, so the teams that are behind just get a massive advantage here. The good news is there is something that I can use here, and that's the Wukong. Wukong is going to be just fantastic for me to play. Going to give me 3 Sage. He also gives me a rank of Heavenly Trait, so I can finally get that in. This is going to be really nice. And then Morgana pops up as well. So I was like, all right. Definitely time to reconfigure my board here. I'm going to go ahead and go to level 8. I know I have the 3-star Zoe because Headwinder has a Zoe that's going to come over to my board. I want to play the Wukong. I also want to get Morgana on my board, so I have to drop the 5 Story Weaver if I want to play her, but I do want to play her for 4 Sage. So I'm like, what unit do I take out? What unit do I take out? And it's definitely Garen, so we'll take him out. And then now I want to get the Radiant Morellos on her. Now again, Zoe is a 2-star unit, but I really want that Radiant Morellos on her. So I'm going to look to move these items over, and I really should put them all on the same unit. There's no reason to split them up, so we'll just put them on Morgana. And now she has the Radiant Morellos, now along with the Shojin and the Nashor's Tooth. So again, her Puddle is just going to be doing absolutely crazy damage because she's got Radiant Morellos, and she also has the Sage trait. Remember, 4 Sage is, let me grab the numbers once again. 4 Sage is 30% Omnivamp for the first 2 rows, 45 AP for the back row. So that's 45 AP. And then let me look up the items for what the stats are on the Radiant Morellos, because I don't know what the Radiant stats are off the top of my head. All right, Radiant Morellos. What is the name for this one? Here, Morello. It's called Morellonomicon. Attacks and abilities, 3% burn and 33% wound to enemies for 30 seconds. Yeah, it burns them and wounds them for 30 seconds for the entire fight. And then the base stats are 50 ability power, 25% attack speed, so it has good synergy with Shojin, and 150 health. So yeah. All right, and then for this last option here, I get the chance to take one of the new items that have been added. By the way, also get 3-star Zoe coming over from Grillo. Or not Grillo, wow. I can't believe I did that again. I've done so many of these games with JDPL Grillo. Sometimes I think he's in these games, even though he's not. Lichbane, the holder's first attack after each ability does bonus damage. So I'm going to go ahead and move these items over to Zoe because she is a 3-star unit. But I probably should have just kept the Shojin on Morgana. I probably should have kept all of these items on Morgana. Because, again, the Radiant Morelos is just so incredibly good. You want to get those casts off faster in the fights. I think I actually made my board weaker by moving some of these items from a 2-star Morgana to a 3-star Zoe. I think I actually made the board weaker by doing that, even though that sounds insane. I think I should have kept all those items on Morg and just moved the new Lichbane or whatever that item's called over to the Zoe. So even though that sounds completely ridiculous, I actually think I made my board weaker by moving the items off Morgana just because the Radiant Morelos was that strong. All right, so I did hit the 3-star Zoe with the help of Headwinder. I'm still on 6 Zyras, 6 Dianas, and I do have this extra sword, by the way, so I'm hoping I can make use of it on somebody. We'll put it on Wukong for right now. Again, I would love to get a tier so I can make a second Shojin and put it on Morgana, which I think would be really good. But of course, swords are also very good on Wukong, so it's going to depend on what we get out of the minion round here as far as what's good or not. All right, there is, what is it, a belt, so that's something. Also rods, okay, that's good. I can probably do something good with that. There's Hui, again, the only other 5-cost I can't use. Remember how I said that Udyr was like one of the worst possible units for me to pick? Yeah, the other one that's really bad is probably Hui. I mean, I guess I could have him paint extra copies of Diana or Zyra, but still not really useful. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make some useful items here. I'll make the Sterix for the Wukong, and then I have the leftover items for an Ionic Spark, which I think is going to be pretty good here because I don't actually have a user for, I don't have any magic shred, and my comp is mostly magic damage. So I'll put this on the Galio for right now, and I do think that's going to help me out. My biggest weakness is still my front line is a little bit sketchy right now. If I could hit the 3-star Diana, that would actually help out a tremendous amount. And by the way, this board just kind of ran me over. They're on 1 HP, but they also have an Umbral board that looks quite strong. A well-itemized Elune and a strong Silas over there. But the good news is there are 2 teams on 1 HP, so hopefully one of them will get knocked out soon. By the way, there's another Hui. I was like, can I get some of the 5 costs that are actually decent here? Now, I was trying to go to level 9, but look, I have 2 out of 3 Elunes on my board here. I really would like to send a 2-star Elune over to Headwinder, who is very close. He has 2 out of 3 Dianas, by the way. So both of us were like, all right, well, let's roll here. I'm going to roll and try to hit this Elune so I can send the 2-star Elune over to Headwinder. It would make a very big deal because he has 6 Elunes. I have 2 more for 8. If I can get 1 more, it would be enough to get the, what do you call it? The 3-star over on his board, and that would make a big difference because his board is having some trouble because he's so contested in this lobby with all these Umbral units getting taken out. So that's why I'm going to roll here, if you're curious why I'm rolling here. I also pass up the Soraka. I should be grabbing these Sorakas because taking Sorakas out of the pool does help me hit Diana, and it also does help me hit Elune. It's not likely I'm going to hit the 3-star Soraka, but I might as well grab these. As I said, it helps me unlock the other 3 costs that we're rolling for. Anyway, that was a gift round from Headwinder. You get the gift rounds and double up, and the option was to take 2 completed items. And the good news is I actually got a Spear of Shojin, which was the single most important item for me to get there. That means that Morg is going to cast much faster in these fights. And I also got another Sunfire Cape, but that wasn't so useful because I already have a Sunfire Cape. Now I have 2 Sunfire Capes, so okay, whatever. Now I have 2 Sunfire Capes, and now it's the reverse gift round, so I get the chance to send something back to Headwinder. And I believe that he takes the completed item Anvil out of these choices here. The good news is one of the teams did get knocked out, so now we're down to just 3 teams in the lobby. The strongest team in the lobby is currently the one that's on 1 HP, so we would really, really like to see them get knocked out here. All we need is one of their 2 players to lose. One of them to lose. And again, I'm rolling here because I really, really would like to hit this Elune so I can send this over. At least I do find another Zyra, so that's something. And then another Zyra. Okay, so we're on 8. By the way, how many Ashes have I seen in this lobby? And then, okay, that's not quite what I was looking for. I mean, the Zyra is nice, but I really would like to get the Elune 2-star so I can send it over to Headwinder. Anyway, I've seen so many Ashes and Annies, and I've seen like multiple Azirs in this game. This is like the most overpowered comp in the game right now. It's the same comp from the last patch. It's still the strongest comp. The Ash plus Invoker's board. And I keep seeing all the units for it when I'm not playing that board. It's kind of wild, but it just wasn't in the cards this game because I wasn't playing it. Also, this fight's very close, but Zoe gets off one more cast at the last second and takes down that Trist, which is nice. And then, oh, can we beat this person who's on 1 HP? No, we can't. But good news is their partner lost. Headwinder was able to stall them. Their partner lost, and they're out of the game. That was the strongest team on the board, by the way. And we're actually first pick on this carousel. Now, I wouldn't mind taking the Morgana. I wouldn't mind the Jeweled Gauntlet, but there's an Elune on this carousel. So I'll just take the Elune. This will make Elune 2-star. Then I can send it to Headwinder, and that'll be Elune 3-star for his board. So this is me passing up the chance to get a unit that would actually help me, or an item that would help me. Jeweled Gauntlet for Morg would have been amazing here. But I want to help Headwinder make his board, so I'm going to send the Elune over to him. And now I have 3 Sunfire Capes. So yeah, I don't need 3 Sunfire Capes. So I was like, can I reforge these? The logic was you can reforge the Sunfire Capes. It's like, okay, so we'll put them on this Trist and we'll reforge them. And it's like, oh, Sunfire Cape's a unique item. Okay, so I can reforge 1 Sunfire Cape, and I'm going to get Warmogs, which is actually better because, as I said, I don't need 3 Sunfire Capes. 2 is already more than I need. But I get a Warmogs, which is good. So I just replaced that on Diana. So now both Diana and Galio have pretty good items. I'd say they both have very good tank items, actually. They do have double Sunfires, which is a little wonky, but still pretty good. All right, and now we're up against the... Didn't I just hit this player before? I think I just hit this person like the previous round. But in any case, I am going to be able to beat them. And then can we beat this other board? Oh, wow. 3-star Elune making the difference. 3-star Elune just barely snags that one out. And we're going to be able to win that. Now I do not need to continue rolling, though. Now I definitely want to get to level 9. I'm still hoping that Headwinder will find one more Diana, and he'll be able to send me a Diana 2-star, and that will make the 3-star for my board. So he is looking for it. He's trying to find that. By the way, we're both playing Morgana on our board, so it's going to be hard for either of us to 2-star this unit. But he's definitely still trying to find this one. I want to get to 9 right now because there's so many different units I could play on level 9. Again, I think my top choice would be to play Aurelia to get 5 Story Weaver in. That would be quite nice. We get the Kale upgraded again, and we'd also have the chance to play a 5-cost unit. Also, in addition to that, I could always play Lysandra. She is still overpowered. Would give me Arcanist trait. That would give me 20 AP for the whole team. That would be pretty nice. I could also look to play Rakan. As I mentioned, Rakan would put Dragon Lord trait in play and would also give me a rank of Altruist. Would get me to 3 Altruist. By the way, another super close fight. Zoe clutching this out. By the way, who did the most damage in the fight? Yeah, it went by really fast, but if you rewind the video, Morgana did the most damage there. Yeah, it was actually Morgana. Anyway, so as I said, I could play Lysandra, I could play Aurelia, I could play Rakan, or I could play Annie, because Annie would put Exalted trait in. And Exalted, is what? I think it's like 10 or 11% extra damage. I think I have enough frontline right now. I think more damage is actually what I need, because the fact that Morgana's only a 1-star unit is holding me back a fair bit. If she were a 2-star unit and had like a Death Cap or a Jeweled Gauntlet, we would just be absolutely face rolling these teams, because we've got the 4 Sage in for all the extra AP, plus she's got the Radiant Morellos, and she's got the Shojin to cast faster. So anyway, let's see what we can hit here. I'm going to go ahead and roll first. And okay, the video lagged a little bit, but that was actually the Diana coming over from Headwinder. So very, very nice there. By the way, there's Lysandra, although I don't know how I could get her on the board here. One time, as I said, I do think Rakan is better to play than Lysandra. Also 7 Sorakas, so we're not far off that either. So I'm going to keep rolling here. And then there is an Annie. I was like, I think the Annie is actually better here, because I think Exalted trait is what I'm looking for. Now, I wanted another Morgana item here, but I don't get that. So since that's not an option, I'm going to take this Bloodthirster. I'm going to put it on Wukong. He's actually going to be pretty hard to kill, even though he's only a 1-star unit. With the Sterix plus the Bloodthirster, plus the fact that he gets 30% Omnivamp from Sage trait, he's actually going to be a hard unit to kill. And he's just going to help me provide more frontline and a little bit of extra damage, even though Zoe and the Morgana are still doing most of the damage on my team. Anyway, I'm able to win that fight, and then we pop over to Headwinder's board, and we win that one as well. Again, I do think that the Exalted's making a difference here, and so I'm going to keep rolling. By the way, I also get 1 XP from Exalted trait. A little late for the XP portion of that. Not going to be that useful here. And then, all right, so I'll hold here for right now. We did manage to get this team down to 1 HP, so if we can win against either of their 2 boards, we will be able to win the lobby. And it looks like I'm up against the Mythic board here. They do have 3-star Bard, 3-star Tahm Kench, and they just hit 2-star Hui, which is going to be pretty nice. So let's get Wukong off on the side of the board. I don't want Wukong taking early aggression. He's tanky, but he's not that tanky. And yeah, we want Diana and Galio to be the ones taking most of the initial damage. All right, so this board is pretty strong. We have to cut through that Tahm Kench, and then we have to get on the Bard. But again, Morgana is getting off just these absolutely incredible puddles over here that are doing just so much damage. She got one on the back line that's hitting the Bard and the Lilia. All right, Headwinder lost, so their partner's coming in. Can we finish this off? All right, there we go. Let's get them out of the lobby. That person has Prismatic Ticket. I do not want them continuing to roll for more 4 and 5 costs with their Prismatic rerolls. So we are going to wrap this one up and take the first place finish here. As I said, I thought my board was pretty strong in this game. It definitely helped that I was uncontested, and I high rolled pretty good at the start of the game when I just hit all of these Sage units over and over and over again. Headwinder's board wasn't as strong, but that's because he was contested on almost everything he was playing. He managed to get the 3-star Loon, but only like 2 rounds before the end of the game, so didn't manage to hit it until the end. And then, oh, okay, promoted to Emerald 4. Again, that's nice. Was Masters and double up last split. That is definitely not going to happen this split because I'm not going to play that many games, but I guess it's nice to have that happen. Anyway, I was glad I got to feature a different team competition. I hope you enjoyed this, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon.